We're at the Louis Miller Museum interviewing veterans. Would you please state your name?
I'm Charles W. Williams from Hoosick, New York.
Okay, Charlie, what did you do before you went to the service?
Well, I worked for Haynes Brothers,
Where'd you go to school?
Hoosick District School.
I see. And then you went to work for Haynes Brothers, a mechanic.
Right.
All right. And that was from...
1937 to 1941.
All right. So what happened in 1941?
Well, I was inducted in the service.
You got drafted. You were number 95, and you got
Right.
drafted into
Yeah.
the service.
Right.
And you went to the service...
Camp Upton.
Camp Upton.
On the 21st of January, 1941.
All right. And
It went to, went to Camp Upton and stayed there till we went on maneuvers. And then we went up to Fort Ontario. I don't know why, but that's where I got discharged from on the first time I was in service.
I see. So you were there until November of 41.
Yes,
You were in the service, and you were in the Coast Artillery.
yes.
All right. How come they let you out of the service?
I got too old for them, I guess.
Well, how old is old in that day?
How old was it? I was born in 1912, and this is what, 41? 4 from, no, that ain't right.
Yeah, 11. That'd be about, you're around 30 years old.
Yeah, that's the reason.
I see. So they told you to go home.
Go home.
The war hadn't started
Yeah,
yet.
that's right.
Okay. Then the war broke out in
No, I went
December.
back to Haynes's
Yeah, up to work.
and worked from the 11th to the 12th, 41.
Yeah.
And then I got recalled to go to Fort Dix on 1/20/42.
I mean, in 42. Yes.
And then
My question to you is, were you drafted, or was it you were in the reserve when
reserve.
I see. They called you up from the reserve.
That's why I didn't have to wait any time.
I see. So you
Didn't
went.
have to go through all this.
Okay. So you went up. They called you up in the reserve, and you. What happened then in 42?
Well, I went to Fort Dix and it was Coast Artillery from New Hampshire. What was the name of that? 197th Coast Artillery.
Yeah.
And then we went from there to San Francisco. We stayed there about 5 or 6 days. And then we went to Sydney, Australia.
All right. So they.
And we stayed there. And then they decided they didn't need us there, so they sent us around to Fremantle, Australia, which is down around on the other side. We stayed there about 4 months. And then,
What was your job in the service?
well, I was automotive mechanic.
I see.
But when we went to Darwin, they set up all their guns and searchlights, and we were just like, well, we acted as supplies. We took our trucks and took all the supplies from the dock to different areas. And then
Were you there when they bombed Darwin?
oh yeah,
Yeah. What about that?
well, they knocked hell out of us one time, but the next time we got our big guns out. And, well, as I showed you there, we shot down Christmas morning 2 Zeros. We had trouble with them at night. They'd come in, you know, and if we had our searchlights on, they'd follow the searchlights down. And they'd get Brittney to the ground. They knew we weren't established in that area, so they'd go either right or left to the searchlight.
I see.
So we got wise to them. We set up a dummy searchlight out about a mile away from where our staging area was. And we turned that light on, but there was nobody there. Well, they'd come down that light, and we had gun positions, just blow them right out of the air.
I see.
Then they kept coming back at night. We used to call them Big Charlie's coming. Turn your lights out. So they got shot down, well, 4 or 5 times, so they stopped it.
So the Japanese bombed Darwin quite a bit.
Oh, yeah. Then they had a bunch of ships coming in, and they went up in like a cove in above Bismarck Sea, and these scouts that we had came and told us where they were.
I see.
So they notified
They were
the Air
natives.
Force.
They were they were natives from Australia.
No, they were in New Guinea.
I see.
But I don't know what they're. Well, you saw the.
Yeah, I saw the
colors.
pictures. Yeah.
They decided then that they would bomb them at night, not wait till they got ready to come out in the morning. So they sent B-24s, 17s, and some stray bombers. They sunk about 5 ships Of course, when they did that, they couldn't get out. So when it came daylight, they went back and finished the job.
I see. So
That-
the Americans
that-
sunk all those Japanese and caught them in the cove because
Yeah. But they, in the meantime,
And you were in Darwin when this happened.
yes.
All right, go ahead. I'm
And
interested.
they decided then that they would come down around the old Stanley Range and get us. It's over, going over the mountain somewhere, you know.
Yeah.
So our scout radar picked them up, and so they sent the Air Force out after them, and they had just sent this task force into us. We had the airfield ready for some of them,
Yeah.
and that night they came and got 4 of us. They called us replacement gunners. So we went over there, and they dropped 40-pound bombs on them. Of course, them big things when they go off, you know, they just blow holes and everything. So we got rid of that bunch. Well, then
I see. Now you became a gunner. You were in the pool, but you were a gunner, and they put you in
I
a
was on-
what kind of plane? B's what?
24.
The B-24s.
But I was on detached service from my outfit, 5 of us, to the Air Force.
I see.
One time, we were on detached service to the Navy. When the Swordfish went up north, we were supposed to go with them. But they found out they needed us somewhere else, so that I didn't get a chance to go. I got on the submarine.
I see. But you were a gunner on the B-24. I see.
On the bottom. Belly gunner.
The belly gunner.
Yeah, we're a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, I'll bet it was. It's hard to get in here. It was a real tight area.
But we had one of the new one which was hydraulically operated. You didn't
I
have to
see.
crank it around. You
I
know?
see.
You push a button, you were here. You wanted to go back there, you push the button. But you had the observer was watching all the time. If the plane was coming, we knew where he was. Whether he was coming in on our starboard or whether side he was coming, or if they try to come behind us, we'd turn right around, face back.
I see.
And then they had gunners. Had gunners in the doorways of these big planes, 50 caliber machine guns. They'd come close to them, you know. Hell, they could get them with a 50 caliber. They expected to hit us, you know. But before they hit us, they shoot them down. We got 5 in one cluster that were coming in. Everybody hit a different ship.
All
Of course,
right.
they all went down. We don't know what happened to them.
I see.
Well, then we had another bomber we captured there, and they took them as prisoners. And of course, we had Australians with us too, you know. And when they captured them guys, they really mistreated them. I mean, they punched their eyes out, cut their ears off, cut their tongue out.
Yep.
They were brutal.
Who,
So
the Australians?
We didn't have no sympathy for them. So they had about 10 of them. They were taken back to a prisoner camp. They went over the old Stanley Range. Somehow the bay door got open.
Oh
They
yeah.
all went out.
Okay.
An accident, you know. One of them
Yeah,
accidents.
right. So all right. So how many missions did you make on that B-24? You were flying out of the Darwin area.
Yeah.
And how many missions was it over New Guinea? And
Yeah, I made 4 or 5. 5, I think I
I
made.
see.
Red stayed there. The guy was with me. He stayed with him, and I went back. Yeah, I went back to our outfit, because we were moving up. We went from Darwin to, we were in New Guinea then. We went up to Formosa Islands, up above New Guinea.
Yeah.
That's where we got all set up there, and we had a few interruptions with planes trying to come in, but not many, because right after that they kind of squelched them. I got hurt over there, and then they sent me back down to,
Well, how'd you get hurt?
we were in a truck, and we don't know what happened. It was a mine or what it was, and I got my back hurt, and
But the truck get blown up?
it didn't blow it all up, but it blew, so it was, you couldn't use it, you know, blow the front all off of it. But we got out of it all right, and of course we didn't have any hospital or anything there, no doctors, and so they flew us down to Fitchhaven. And then we went by boat from there down to Australia, and I was in the Army hospital. Well, you know what I meant. What else could I say? Yeah, it was an Army hospital.
Sure.
And there was a bunch up there that were a lot worse than I was, so when that ship was going to come back, the Smithsonian, we went over on the Smithsonian, come back on the sister ship. So they sent us all back to Frisco, and I came back, went to the hospital, and then after I got out of there, went to Aberdeen, Maryland Proving Ground. Of course, that was another joke. I mean, they wanted us to do camp duty, you know, and everything else. We had about 40 of us there. And they said, well, yeah, we want to get discharged. So they had like a little, wasn't quite a riot, but, you know, they wouldn't work or anything. So their commander come down. He was going to put us all in jail or in stockade and all this stuff. Well, he said, that's a good deal. We're better off there than we are where we are. And so finally, I don't know, he was some big commander. He says, these men are entitled to get discharged. That's what they were sent here for. So they started discharging us.
I see. And you got out in 45.
45. Then they gave us our rations and travel pay and money that I had accumulated in the, not the bank, it was the Army headquarters.
I see.
Oh, I don't know what he was called. It was like a bank. I mean,
I see. Yeah, it was run by the
we didn't have no use for our money.
Yeah, right. So you put
We
it right
play
in
cards
there.
and lose it.
Yeah, right. All right, so then you got discharged.
Right.
It was on 8/22/45, you
Yeah.
told me. All right, now let's go back and think this whole thing. I want to sum up what you did. They sent you to Australia.
Right.
You did your. They set up the coastal artillery for when the planes come over. Do you try to get them down, shoot them down
Right.
with your anti-aircraft? Okay, then you were sent to be a gunner. So you made 5 missions as a gunner in the belly gunning.
B-24.
On a B-24, then you came back, and then you moved out with the artillery to start setting up banks. You went through New Guinea,
Right.
and then up to Formosa.
Yeah.
That summed up your service, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything else about the service you like that you remember?
Well, I lost a lot of good friends. I know that.
Yeah. Now, they showed me pictures of scouts. In other words, these were New Guinea natives.
Yeah, but some of them you couldn't trust.
Yeah.
They worked with the Japanese tonight, and tomorrow they'd be out by our place.
I see.
See? So we had to kind of weed them out. So we had a real good, the ones I had were real.
Yeah, well, those that you
We took
showed
care of
me.
them. We fed them, gave them clothes and everything else.
And this was in New Guinea, or in
Yes,
this was in New Guinea when you were in New Guinea.
Yeah.
And they would let you know where all the enemy was.
Yeah.
That was their purpose. They go up to trees and look and.
They had, they were all entrenched in this big area where they were going to move out. Kept moving the troops in, and they'd come back and tell you, oh, there's another ship unloading today.
Yeah.
And they're all going up, and I forgot the name of the place.
Yeah.
Well, the next day they'd go up and bomb them.
I see. And that's what happened with that cove. They told you there were a lot of ships in
They
there.
tried to come in on barges. I got a couple of pictures
Yeah, I
there.
see.
And the minute they opened the doors on the barges, well, we just shot them or else captured them, you know.
I see.
A lot of them surrendered. When they found out that so many was getting killed, they just surrender, you know. They have their flags and
With the Japanese.
they have nothing on them, you know, no
Yeah.
guns or nothing. So they take them to a staging area for a few days, then they take them down to a camp.
I see. Well, good. All right, I got a pretty good idea of your service now. You did a good service.
Well, it's an awful rainy time, though.
Yeah.
We had, the big planes flew from east to west, and the fighter planes were north to south. You'd go to one airport, dry as it is here. Go to the next, said rain, rain, rain.
Yeah.
I mean rain. You're walking mud up over your shoes. 2 days it was just like it hadn't rained. The ground was so hard.
It was And then the sun would bake
and
it
it was
out.
more or less runoff.
Yeah.
And some of the streams, we'd have people on one side of the stream, they couldn't get across for a couple of days because there was no bridges, and it was too high for the trucks to go through.
I see. This is New Guinea, yeah.
That was a muddy pool.
Yeah.
But I'm surprised, we must have got into something there because everyone that has died in the last 10 years all died of cancer.
Everyone.
My friend in Springfield last year died. He was at my house, picture health. We went out to eat, and well, he went home, and we had another engagement to go up to New Hampshire to visit some of our friends. So we went up there. We found out that 2 of them had died. Between the time we had talked with them that were coming, we didn't know about it, of course, you know.
And these are all buddies that were in New Guinea with you.
Same one with us.
Yeah. That's a coincidence there or something.
But we used to have a reunion every summer, in July or August, something that time, and everybody, even the officers, a lot of them would come, you know. They were like common people, you know.
Yeah, right.
But we had a good bunch of officers. We had a few, but you know, you always get a few.
Right.
But,
Okay, so now you're out of the service, you come back to Hoosick Falls.
Yeah, I go back to Haynes Brothers in September.
Yeah.
And I worked there until I went and had to go to the VA hospital. Well, they sent me to Cambridge Hospital first for my back. I went to Stacy. Remember where Stacy used to be here? He was a butcher.
He went back in the service.
Good place for him. Too bad he's since died. But
Yeah.
well, anyway, I went to Cambridge. I got out of there. Then they sent me down to Kingbridge Road, a Veterans Hospital in New York. Well, they fiddled around with me and stretched me out and gave me a brace to wear and sent me home. Then finally I got a call for examination to come to VA in Albany. Well, I got out on a disability, 70%. Well, there's nothing
That was the
wrong.
back that you got hurt in that truck accident. Yeah.
And there's a doctor from Troy, Dr. Lanzillo, I'll never forget him, Italian doctor. And of course, when I went back for this examination, all these doctors said, "Oh, there's nothing wrong with you. You're just faking." Boy, he was there as, what, like a lawyer, but I mean, on my part, what he knew about it.
Right.
Boy, he really got mad. Of course, you know, they got in a real ruckus. They throwed him out of the trial or the interview.
It was a hearing, yeah.
So they decided they'd knock off 20% and still give me 30%. So, well, what can I do? You know,
Sure.
So that's the way it ended up. But he was a mad doctor.
Yeah,
I'm
I
telling
see.
you. Ugh.
Okay, so now when'd you get married, Charlie?
I got married in I've been married 55 years.
Oh, 55 years. You got married in 45.
What,
Huh?
45?
Yeah. How many children did you have, Charlie?
Two.
Two children.
Boys. Bob, you know
Yeah,
Bob.
yeah, I know
There's
Bob.
no argument.